Hello, everyone, and welcome to the monthly policy insights from the Payments Association. This month, we're going to talk about crypto and inclusion. Crypto is a fascinating topic, which everyone gets to know, but no one really knows how it works. So we thought of giving you some lights on what is the future of payments and crypto payments as well. So to this end, we're very happy to have with us two members of our association. We have BCB Group and Mastercard. And for BCB, we have Chris Aruliah, who is Chief Product Officer. And for Mastercard, we have Josh Berle, who is Business Development Director and also Project Lead of Project Inclusion at the Payments Association. Chris, I would like to start with you and asking you, what is crypto, why is crypto happening, and how do you see the development of this fascinating new industry that's coming up?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Riccardo. What is crypto? It's a big topic. I mean, when we think of crypto, we start with Bitcoin, really, don't we? And Bitcoin has been around for over 10 years. It started the crypto movement, shall we say, if we want to put it like that. But obviously, crypto has expanded beyond that to many more digital assets and types of tokens. We're also seeing, the expansion of different blockchains, which underpins the cryptocurrencies, the technology that underpins it. And if we look at the landscape today, we have Bitcoin, Ethereum as, the coins that people most know of, but then also a group of altcoins, such as Solana and Cardano and many others, creating a total market of, over $2 trillion now. Of assets, which all have their different characteristics, all have their different parts to play in the crypto ecosystem. But one thing is for sure, the crypto market has now grown to a stage where it's no longer a market that we can, let's say, ignore. And it's one that obviously a lot of people are putting a lot of time and effort and money into to see what we can do with it and where it will take us.
Absolutely, yeah. We can see that there's a drive from people to invest, but of course this is still an unregulated market. So what are your advice to people who are not too familiar with that, and also to people who are familiar with that and would like to know more and do more and put their foot into this new industry?
Yeah, two things there. I think one is regulation is evolving. So yes, let's say previously it wasn't regulated, but we're now seeing various forms of regulation coming in. Obviously, in Europe, we have Fifth AML directive, where anyone that touches crypto or exchanges crypto has to register as a virtual asset service provider. In the UK, we have that with the FCA. We're seeing in the US now moves to bring in regulation as well, and also in several other jurisdictions. So we only, at BCB Group, we certainly endorse that and support that and see that continuing. So number one, the crypto market is evolving from a regulation perspective. Number two, what I always say to people is really it's a case of educating yourself on this market. There's several good sources for that out there. There's a great book actually which I always point to, the Bitcoin Standard, which is a good start point for understanding not just crypto, but where crypto fits into the overall system of money, and what it offers us as an alternative system. And so that's a good start point. And it's really on all of us to educate ourselves and come up to speed. And these days there's tons of places to go to get that information.
Absolutely. And then we're very supportive of all these new means of payments, because that will mean that payments will be finally able to resolve problems in cross-border payments throughout stablecoins as well, and finally make this cheaper, faster, and more inclusive, which is an ultimate goal of our industry. And this is why the Payments Association is always on top of everything, and we want to show that we are really leading this transformation towards a new digital money system. So is there any area of policy that you think the UK should explore to make sure that London and the UK as a whole can become a hub, a real important hub for digital payments in general, not only crypto, but more digital payments in general.
Yeah, I think you touched on one right there, actually, stablecoins. The stablecoins offer a lot of potential, and as an innovation, which is something that certainly at BCB we're very excited about. Across the ecosystem, I think stablecoins do offer us a good way to bring in a new form of moving money, which utilizes, let's say, the best of both worlds, because we're leveraging blockchain technology. We're creating an asset which is pinned to traditional money, and potentially we can achieve the aim that you suggested there, making cross-border payments faster and cheaper through the use of stable coins. Obviously, a lot of people are exploring it from a private company perspective, and obviously central banks are exploring it from a CBDC perspective. Certainly, we would see that over the next 12 to 24 months, the emergence more and more of stable coins in the market. We already have USDC, which has been, hugely successful in the US market. And from a UK perspective, it would certainly be good to see regulators and others certainly, gathering around this whole topic of stable coins and ensuring that we as the UK lead in that particular form of cryptocurrency.
Absolutely, and this is something that we're monitoring closely, and we're working on a green paper that will be published in January. So we have formed a syndicate of companies that come forward to make sure that the industry can speak with one voice and can fast track a little bit all of this debate there somewhere. It's proceeding fast, but it always runs behind the necessity of making it urgent and immediate. So this is why the Payments Association is pushing hard on this new technology and these new developments in payments. So this is also very important for inclusion, isn't it, Josh?
It is, but I think there are a number of points we can make about crypto and inclusion at this point in time. The first is that actually the range of use cases that are possible are just emerging and starting to be thought about. They are not necessarily that obvious, but to an extent, the market is driving where they're going. So, for example, what we're seeing is that crypto is finding its use in an inclusion sense in areas where there are poor alternatives, particularly where the banking infrastructure is quite poor or digital card infrastructure is fairly patchy. So we're seeing crypto being used, for example, in the developing world to quite a large degree by people who can't otherwise access the standard or conventional banking system. And we're also seeing it in that context where individuals are seeking to transfer money, particularly across borders as well. So it's finding its uses simply driven by where people who otherwise couldn't use conventional products are drawn to it, because it presents itself as possibly one of the few viable options. We've already seen, though, that in relation to more well-established crypto tools such as Bitcoin, actually a lot of people, again within the developing world, have been brought into practices such as Bitcoin mining. I'm personally aware of that in terms of individuals who were helping to care for my mother, who also were advertising the fact on their WhatsApp statuses that they were doing this sort of thing, and that struck me as really very, very interesting indeed. So I think it's through that in a way the market will drive where crypto will have a role in terms of serving an inclusive agenda.
I think this is really fascinating, Josh. And because Mastercard is really pushing this now with these new researches that you have published and the new directions of travel that you've taken. So can you tell us, in short, what Mastercard is doing for that?
Well, I think Mastercard has always sought to get ahead of the agenda with these kinds of new technologies. And again, what I would say is that it's not clear exactly what the direction of travel is. However, one thing is starting to become a little bit clearer, and that is that crypto, whilst not necessarily being a tool that will replace in one fell swoop the existing infrastructure that we're all used to using and has been around for many years, if not decades. But we're seeing that crypto will have specific uses around particular niches. So Mastercard itself is using blockchain technology, for example, in relation to supply chain tools and understanding provenance of goods, which is particularly important where you're talking about luxury goods, where understanding that something that you've got is not a fake and has come from the right place. For example, high value items like Swiss watches and that kind of thing is quite important. So it's in that sort of area we're seeing it being used. I've seen it being used as well separately in relation to vehicle hire. And it's in those sorts of areas that I think we'll see it. In terms of understanding how it may come to supplant some of the more conventional payment approaches that we've got at the moment, it's quite difficult to predict. But what is clear is that people are seeing that it does have its uses where people can think of specific use cases, whether that be, for supply chain finance, whether it be for inclusion, or indeed a whole range of other use cases that we've yet really to uncover.
Fantastic. Josh, thank you very much. So we've had today Josh Berle from Mastercard and Chris from BCB. And thank you both for your very, very interesting conversation and insights, which are very helpful to the job that the Payments Association is doing. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.